know that by the time we finish this morning, you will have solved all the problems that the Lakers have. That's our goal. That's our quest.
Easily.
2
hours, it's done.
I just want to sit and watch.
I don't think we need that much time. We'll have that done for you in 20 minutes. But let's start with this. Game of the night. Sixers, Raptors, Joel Embiid. Funny moment before the game. Embiid trying to give a little shake hands with Pascal Siakam, but he says, no way, you're always sick when you don't play well. So I'm not sure how you're going to be feeling tonight. Let's see. Second quarter. Sixers are up 10. Jimmy Butler throwing it up, and Ben Simmons throwing it down for the monster dunk. Take a look. Simmons says, give me one. Philadelphia up 12 early. Now it's a 10-point game, and watch Jimmy Butler. No. Jimmy Butler, yes, off balance. Plus the foul. Sixers love it. Sixers up 13 after the foul shot. Under 20 seconds to go. The lead is 11. Butler driving up, and it's good. Now keep an eye on Butler here as he's going back in the other direction. 8 seconds left in the half. 7 seconds. Time is counting down. Butler. Oh, poke check steal up. Kawhi Leonard. 3, 2, 1. Beats the buzzer. 9 first-half field goals for Jimmy Butler, most in any half in his playoff career, and the Sixers are up 15. And then in the third quarter, it would be Embiid finding his rhythm. The lead is 11. Butler, Embiid, little jumper over Marcus Gasol plus the foul. Embiid feeling it and feeling well on this night at home. Take another look here at Leonard going to the basket. Oh, and look at Joel Embiid playing defense. Meets him at the rim. Not having any of that. And then more defense. Sixers up 16 points. Leonard swatted again by Embiid. And look at the speed of Ben Simmons out in front of the floor. And if this is the process, right in one little microcosm. Embiid with a block on one end. Simmons the lay-in on the other. Now they're feeling good. 18 points was the lead. Time winding down in the third. Embiid's got that in the repertoire as well. His plus-minus was plus 40 last night. 17 points, 12 boards. There will be a Game 7 in Toronto on Sunday.
Man, if you play bad, you want to come back the next game and play better. You know, up there in Toronto, we felt like we made a lot of mistakes, and tonight they had to be corrected. Got to come in and, fight. Our back was on the line tonight. I feel like our back is still on the line. He's on the line, so it's all about defense. If we play defense like we played tonight, or in game 2 and 3, we feel like we can beat anybody.
So here's what we had. The Sixers clamping down defensively, particularly in transition last night. Toronto scoring a series low 11 fast break points. That's 11 fewer than their average games 1 through 5. So basically shut that down by 50%. And so, Russillo, I turn to you, and I want to use the word confounding sometimes to describe the Sixers. Sometimes they look so good, and you wonder, why is it that same collection of players occasionally looks so bad? Maybe most importantly, what do we get from them on Sunday?
They lost by 36 in Game 5, and then they come out. This is twice in this series where I've gone, I don't know about Philly, and they show this fight and this toughness, this mental toughness that's still, let's face it, a group that's new. It's new this year, and it's only the second year with Embiid and Simmons. But I've been thinking about them so much, and there's 2 things that I've thought of. One is, there's going to be nights where one of the 4 guys just absolutely disappears, and it's not going to flow perfectly. I think that's just kind of who they are. And I also think like Miami with LeBron and that success in Golden State, those 2 super teams have spoiled us into thinking that every team that's loaded up with names, that everything's supposed to flow and fit together, and that's just not the way it is. LeBron can play with everybody, and Golden State's this version of a basketball team is just basketball like Xanadu. I mean, it's perfect. So it's not always going to be that way for Philadelphia, but at least to this point, getting it to a Game 7, they've shown a toughness that is a different level from where they were at in the second round last year.
And so, Woj, I've been a talk show host for 20 years, so I want to push the drama here, okay? So I want to make Sunday a referendum on both of these teams and their futures. For the Sixers and the process which has been building to this moment, they get knocked out in the second round here after they loaded up. That feels like it would be an enormous disappointment. If they lose on Sunday and if they don't look good, and Jalen was in here earlier this week talking about the possibility that Embiid and Simmons long-term might not be a perfect fit. What do you think happens to Philly if they get knocked out on Sunday?
I think in the immediacy, Brett Brown may have some problems in Philadelphia. I mean, he signed a new 4-year extension at the end of last season after getting in the playoffs, advancing, but that won't protect him if they decide to make a change. And I think getting out of this round is going to be important for him. But in terms of roster, listen, they've got to make decisions on Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. They're both going to be free agents. The plan was when they traded for both of them, we're going to re-sign both of them. Now, that will be come at an enormous cost, and Those two have to decide they want to be there. Does Tobias Harris does he want to be the fourth guy in Philly? He could go somewhere else and get a max deal. That's why the Clippers traded him. They didn't want to pay him a max. I think Butler and Tobias Harris and the investment that organization is going to be willing to make into the future, that's going to be the offseason question for them.
So very quickly to you, Ryan, and not that anyone expects them to break up Embiid and Simmons this soon, but long term, do you think those two are the fit and the cornerstones of that franchise?
I don't think they're a great basketball fit. And I've always thought, like, for Embiid to have another huge player that takes up space around the hoop that isn't a shooter in today's game is a weird fit for him. When Simmons is right and he is like he is last night, it's incredible. It's great to watch. But he was still 3 of 5 total in Game 5. And then you can see after the bad Simmons game, he comes out in that first quarter. He took as many shots in the first quarter last night as he did total in Game 5. So I don't understand with him why it's like, oh, you just decided tonight I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to push it in transition. So they probably keep both of them, Greeny, because of what it possibly could be. And you always lose these trades anyway. Like, I would have to know what you were doing for Simmons. I just think from a basketball standpoint, they overlap each other on the floor a lot.
Yeah, and both of them will be back next year. But if you're Boston and you're Philadelphia and you're looking back, both those teams had chances to trade for Kawhi Leonard last summer. Toronto did it. And Simmons would have gotten them a deal for Kawhi Leonard.
If they'd been willing to put Simmons in the deal, you're saying.
Right. Jaylen Brown might have gotten them a deal with San Antonio. Do Boston and Philly look back and say, should we have rolled the dice the way Toronto did?
Well, maybe we'll find out the answer to that on Sunday, at least from a Philly standpoint. And so that brings me to the next thought I want to force on you, and that is that Sunday is about Kawhi Leonard's future. It's Sunday in Toronto. If the Raptors win, then that feels good. And if the Raptors lose and they get bounced here and he sort of feels like he's out there all by himself, it means he's leaving.
I don't think with Kawhi Leonard, none of my reporting suggests that his future is tied to advancing in the postseason. I think that is less impactful than people generally think it is. A lot of these guys have already made their decision. They know what they're going to do. They haven't shared it with many, but he knows they have a good young core in Toronto. He knows they can pay him more than anybody else. Whether or not they win a Game 7, this is a guy who's already won a championship and a Finals MVP. His decision may not be based on rings. It may be based on market, going home to Southern California, and the Clipper organization potentially.
I'm just so glad you said that, because I think we are from the outside. We get really emotional about it, where we put these hurdles that, like, hey, if Kawhi gets the Eastern Conference Finals, he's probably really going to like it there. Like, well, no, he knows if he wants to stay in Toronto, if he doesn't right now, and I don't think it has anything to do with how well the team does.
All right, well, we'll see. By the end of the show, I'm going to convince you that I'm right about this. So we're going to do all of that as we go. In the meantime, we move forward, because there's not just one Game 7 that we have coming up on Sunday, but it is a second Game 7 that we have coming up on Sunday as well. That will be Portland and Denver. Those two teams will go head-to-head Sunday in a Game 7, because last night, Game 6 in Portland going the way of the home team. And so we're going to get to that here, guys, as we'll take a look at that. Or not. Someone tell me where you'd like to go next. There we go. There's Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets taking on the Trailblazers in Game 6. And just look at the talent of this guy. This is Nikola Jokic. Look at him there. The fancy behind-the-back dribble and then the Euro step, and he goes to the hole. Look at this big man. He would score 29 points, grab 12 rebounds. Denver down 4, however, at halftime. Then the second half would belong to Damian Lillard. Look at him here with the big third quarter. He's got that range. That's 32 feet, and it's good. Portland, a 2-point lead. Still in the third. Lillard staying hot. Look at the perfect rhythm in which he'll take this jump. This is a 30-foot jumper, but he shoots it in rhythm, and it's perfect. He finished with 17 points in the third quarter alone. That's where Portland would start to run away. Fourth quarter now. Trailblazers leading by 4. Seth Curry turning it over. Here we go. Beasley looking to finish. No good, so we're going back the other way. Stay with the play. C.J. McCollum is going, and watch the move from McCollum. They don't have just one backcourt star. They've got 2. Getting crafty in the lane and throws it up, and good. Blazers up 89-83. And then it would be Rodney Hood's turn to get into the act. Hood for 3. That's good. Portland's up 9. Less than 7 minutes to go. The lead is 11. Hood for 3. Hood would score 25 points. The lead is 14. Less than 5 minutes to go now. Shot clock winding down for the Blazers. These are those daggers that Lillard can hit. 3, 2, 1. Oh, how does that go in? Damian Lillard finishes with 32 points, and the Blazers, as mentioned, fight off elimination. There'll be 2 Game 7s on Sunday. They'll play